I gave people all the stuff they really needed. Social security checks, utility bills, TV guide.
I want a TV guidance counselor. TV guidance counselor. Staying up to watch all night, and everything's gonna be alright with my TV guidance counselor.
Hey everybody, welcome to TV Guidance Counselor. I am Ken Reed, your TV Guidance Counselor. A little bit hoarse. It's the weather, everybody. This is a show where each and every week someone picks a back issue of TV Guide magazine from my personal collection as the inspiration for our conversation. This week is a funny guy doing some interesting stuff. I don't agree with him on AI. We do discuss it here. But I think we had a respectful and interesting chat about it. So if you are curious about my thoughts on that area, you will get them here. But also just a lot of fun chat about wrestling and dumb stuff. My guest this week is Steve Skulk Pasieka. Steve is an improv musician. He has a podcast called Skulk The Hulking. You can go to skulkthehulking.com. He calls it a comic cast. He uses AI for the visuals, so we talk about that here. And he writes the show, does all the music, and it's funny, so you should check it out. But again, I am always open to discussing with people things I disagree with them on, especially when it comes to media or the future of media and that sort of stuff. And so I thought this was a nice opportunity to do that. So a little something different. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode of TV Guidance Counselor with my guest, Steve Skulk Pasieka.
TV is my friend, and it has been always there for me in time of need.
Live via satellite from New York. Skulk, how are you, sir?
How's it going, Ken? Thanks for having me on, man.
You're very welcome. Were you a Mad Magazine reader as a kid?
I did. Mad Magazine was a blast. I like Mad Magazine.
I mean, I'm a huge Mad Magazine fan, but the listeners can't see this, but you have the most Dick DiBartolo mustache I've seen, and that's a high compliment.
I will take it. Thank you.
I loved Dick DiBartolo.
Yeah, man. I grew it one day. Like, I always was someone who was, like, messing with my facial hair, and I cut it into this one day, and I was just like, oh, no.
It works.
I think I'm dying with this thing, and it's like...
It works.
It's been like 15 years. Like
it works. It's a bold move, and it's you and Dick DiBartolo. Like you guys pulling it off. So, like I said, high compliment. So this issue here you picked. This is a pretty amazing issue. This is from August 14th to the 20th, 1999. Sort of the tail end of the 90s when I started to check out a little bit. But there's three gentlemen on the cover of this TV guide, and unlike some other covers, so this is not commissioned art, this is a real photograph, and this appears to not be a paste up. I think they did a photo shoot with these three gentlemen.
It does look that way.
We got Samo Hung, Kevin Sorbo, and Chuck Norris. Samo Hung being the strange one in that three.
Indeed. I was not familiar too much with where Samo was coming from.
Oh, really? Yeah. So were you a big fan of these action shows? Is that why you picked it?
So it's so funny. I picked this one because of the other covers of the TV guides. Because the other ones were WCW.
Yes.
And then I saw this cover and I was like, oh, that's hilarious. What a crazy mashup of people on the cover of this one.
Yeah, so they did. This is when they were really like TV Guide, kind of, as you would imagine, at the turn of the century, started to lose some market share. So they were like, we're going to be a collectible and have multiple covers and people buy multiple copies. So yeah, there's, I think, 4 WCW covers in addition to this one. So there's an article in here too. Samo Hung is amazing. So I'm a huge Chinese movie fan, martial arts fan. And Samo Hung is an incredibly accomplished actor, writer, director, producer, stuntman in Hong Kong cinema. Like, I don't even know who the equivalent would be. It would be like if, Jesus, I don't even know, like a huge star who also directed and starred in all their own movies.
Yeah. I guess like Clint Eastwood a little bit.
Yeah, like on par with that in Chyna.
Yeah.
And he was basically sold by his parents to the Chinese opera school as a kid, along with Jackie Chan, Yoon Bu, Corey Yoon, who choreographed the Matrix movies. But they were this kid group of Chinese opera kids called the Seven Little Fortunes. There were 7 of them. And they all became like these giant stars in China. They kept trying to break them over here. Jackie Chan obviously came through by this time. So they were like, we're going to get Samo Hung over. And it did not work. His show was called Martial Law. It was produced by the same people who did Chuck Norris's Walker, Texas Ranger. And there was a crossover as well.
I do remember Martial Law for sure. I don't think I ever watched it, but I do remember it being an important part of TV land at the time.
It is not great, and they don't use him well. His English isn't great, which is a shame, because like if you ever see him in like a Chinese movie, he usually ends up playing like a real bad villain. Like he's like a mob boss or like a despicable, like he just does it really well. And he's a ridiculously good martial artist despite being like almost 300 pounds. Like he's like doing flips. It's insane. But yeah, so he's like the odd man out here, although I kind of get that, you know, because Chuck Norris's company is producing this. Kevin Sorbo's the weird one, because although now I would be like him and Chuck Norris, sure, that makes sense. He had nothing to do with either of these shows. It was a completely different production, completely different audience. And I guess Xena had already been on, so they're like, here's some dudes.
Yeah, but that's so fun. That's what's kind of funny to me, too, is because Hercules was a spin-off of Xena, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So, like, the other two, like, they're, like, shows in of themselves, but, like, he's just, like, the spin-off of Xena. Very strange.
Definitely not the more popular show. Like, Hercules did all right, but only slightly better than, Jack of All Trades. You know, there was a couple others, but yeah, there's Kevin Sorbo. I often get it, well, not so much anymore because I've just cocooned, but I used to get into a lot of arguments with the bitter conservative Hollywood dudes. Always dudes, usually former cokeheads.
Yep.
And I'd always feel bad for Kevin Sorbo, though, because he literally had a stroke. He had a stroke on the set of Call the Conqueror.
No, he did?
Like, has never been the same. Oh, yeah, like a major almost died.
Oh, my God. That's insane.
So it's extra bad that I'm like, oh, your political beliefs are because you had a stroke.
You're not there, so okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Do what you can with it.
That's fine.
Fair.
But yes, all these action shows, the late 90s, it was like WCW, WWF.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was the Attitude.
Yeah, that was Attitude. And that was like the fall of WCW. It's very funny because like, I like 99 was like when I went from high school to college. Like, and okay. So it's like high school was very much defined by like the WCW. Like me and the friends, we were into wrestling. We had our own backyard wrestling group. I was Gato the Genetic Ogre, you know?
All right. So this is all of a piece. You got to
exactly. Yeah. And then like, I feel WCW really fell towards that end of 99, but I was off to college, so things started to change a little bit for me as well too. I got more into music and stuff like that, and so it was kind of funny to go through this and take a look at where TV had gone right after I had kind of left it for a moment. And I had a very strange, like, I had a very vivid dream the night that I went through this entire TV guide where, like...
It's like eating cheese.
Yeah, it really, like, it made me, like, I was back at home, like, my buddy came to pick me and my parents up. Like, it was just so weird. And I woke up and I was like, oh my God, man, that TV guide brought me back to a time. Like,
did you used to get TV Guide?
That's a good question. I don't, like, it wasn't like a staple in our household. I definitely remember with, like, younger, there was a TV Guide, but at that point, I think we were more using whatever, like, the TV Guide channel was, which, as we were talking about, that's kind of what TV Guide was losing to.
Right. And it became 3 separate companies in 2002. It became TV Guide Channel, TV Guide Magazine, and TV Guide.
Oh, really? What a weird choice to make.
Yep. And TV Guide Channel is now Freevee. It evolved into Pop, and now I think it's Freevee. Whatever that turned into is now TV Guide Channel.
Yeah.
But it's the same license. But yeah, very strange. Where did you grow up again?
I grew up in Chicago.
So you're from Chicago.
I grew up
Central Time guy.
Yeah. I grew up walking distance from downtown Chicago in the Little Italy section of Chicago. So it's become a part of me. And then we moved to the suburbs in high school, which was a big shock for me, very different than living the city life.
You've gone from Bob Newhart to John Cleese.
Yeah, exactly. And I was not, it's crazy. So in high school, I had there was a local access TV show in our high school that we were able, and I hosted a show there, and I found some old videos of that. I had the most Italian inner city accent I've ever heard in my life. I was just where did this come from? I didn't even know.
You just sound like Dennis Farina.
Yeah, it's insane. It was so that was quite a shock to.
You're hey, welcome to Channel.
Seriously,
1.
it was hey, thanks for watching our show. We're here to talk to the local swim team and
get Italian beef.
Exactly.
Yeah, I had the same with Boston accents. I was in I was in punk rock bands in high school. And we did a bunch of radio interviews over the years. And a few years ago, I re-listened to them, and, we're 15, 16. And it's very strange to have audio recordings of interviews with yourself at that age. But especially since it's, such a pronounced, heavy Boston accent. It's ridiculous.
That's hilarious.
Which I don't really hear children with very strong regional accents much these days.
Yeah, it's true. We've become a globalized culture. It is kind of strange. Yeah, exactly. It's got some negative to it. Yeah.
Yeah. When I get insulted by 12-year-olds, I want them, to be shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
Fuck your mother. It's not the same if they don't say it like that. So then we get in here. There's somehow a disgusting looking ad for Pepto Bismol. They've managed to make ice cream just look so unappetizing.
Yeah, it is. I am a big ice cream guy, and that does not look good. So, congrats to Pepto Bismol.
Is it supposed to look bad?
I think it's supposed. Yeah, I think it's supposed to look oh, this is gonna hurt my stomach.
But usually you're oh, that looks delicious. It's gonna hurt my stomach. Not I don't even want to eat that. Yeah. So for the listener, it's very flat looking. They've somehow managed. It's 2 scoops of ice cream on a cone. They've somehow managed to make it look like a cookie.
Yeah.
But also the ice cream looks like frosting and butter, but both in the worst possible way. And for some reason, the ice cream cone is green.
Yeah, very. Yeah, it's that classic cardboard cone,
Communion wafer.
Yeah, exactly. Communion wafer cone, exactly. But it's a very forest green color.
Yeah, and there's the most unidentifiable toppings. You're is that a gummy bear? Is it a Sour Patch Kid? Are those?
I think it's supposed to be pieces of cherry.
Maybe. It looks pre-chewed. It
does, for sure.
Yeah. I'm impressed, Pepto Bismol. You managed to make ice cream look revolting. Good on you. Then we get an article in here about the Judy Garland show, which I don't know if you've ever watched, but man, is that a train wreck.
I have never seen that. What is strange, it's calling back to the 60s, just out of nowhere.
Yeah, there's also, the ventriloquist known as Senor Wences.
Who died at 103?
103. He died April 20th, 1999 at 103. And that's someone that I only knew of him from Mad Magazine or other people parodying it. I don't think I ever saw actual Senor Wences.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then I love that those 2 articles are sandwich an article about Missy Elliott.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's completely unrelated.
Makes sense. Perfect sense. Yeah, Missy Elliott's oh, I'm sandwiched between Judy Garland and Senor Wences. I would say if someone told me that Senor Wences was a rapper, like that name, I'd buy it.
I could see it, you know?
Yeah.
He rapped, like,
Senor
yeah.
Wences just dropped.
You gotta like, I would picture him rapping in, like, a old British accent, though, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like Slick Rick.
Yeah.
Then there's something I totally forgot about. There's an ad in here for VH1's very first original movie.
Yes.
And it's about a fake band that played Woodstock called Sweetwater. It's called The True Rock Story, Sweetwater, but it's not true. Michelle Phillips is in it. I've never seen this. I assume it's like a mockumentary?
Yeah, I mean, what's crazy is I remember the promotions for this movie because I was, like, honestly, like, one of the biggest time for me out of television time in my life, more so than even the WCW stuff, was 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. after school, because that was TRL into VH1's pop-up music video into Fuse Uranium. And, like, that was every day of my life. I made sure to catch those three, you know? And so I saw tons of commercials for Sweetwater, you know? I didn't care at the time. Like,
no, I was like, this is pre-Almost Famous, which I think was 2000.
Yeah.
I think it was a mockumentary because Behind the Music had just gotten, like, really big on the back of Pop-Up Video, which Pop-Up Video, so many people I know who went into comedy, and especially improv, weirdly, loved Pop-Up Video.
I love it, and I was a big improviser. I did a lot of improv in Chicago, so maybe it is.
For whatever reason, the tone of that show, and I think because they would do that thing where they would start one place and that you think would be unrelated, and then they'd wrap it up, like they'd always bookend it. And it was like very satisfying.
Yes.
And they always used the same structure, but it was always really satisfying. So for whatever reason, that appealed to that specific kind of person. But yeah, TRL was like a little bit after me. I was big on like 120 minutes alternative.
Yeah.
I would tape 120 minutes every Sunday night and watch it on Monday. And the weird thing is too, there's like a real 70s nostalgia, kind of pervasive 70s nostalgia in this issue of TV Guide, which I get was part of the 90s, but was more like 94, 95.
Yeah.
Like, this is weird in 99.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of references to like late 60s, 70s in this.
Yeah, it's very strange. There's also a chocolate peanut butter no-bake Jell-O peanut butter cup that also looks really unappetizing. Yep. It's like a homemade Klondike bar.
Yep. It's a lot of peanut butter, it looks like.
Yeah, it's too much. That ratio is
I
way
love
off.
peanut butter, don't get me wrong, but there's a specific amount that it needs to be used in.
Which size Reese's do you feel has the correct ratio?
That is an excellent question as a peanut butter connoisseur. I would probably go with the Easter eggs.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What about you? What would you go with?
I'd go the bite size.
Oh, bite size.
The minis.
You know, that's fair, because the Easter egg does have more peanut butter to chocolate, and bite size really is a good. I didn't think about. I actually was a big Reese's Pieces guy.
Oh, I still am. Reese's Pieces on ice cream.
Oh man,
that's the best.
I know what I'm running out to go get after this recording.
We had a chain here that's still around called Friendly's Ice Cream, and they had a Reese's Pieces sundae, and it was peanut butter sauce and Reese's Pieces, and it came in this like giant goblet. Like every so often, like maybe once or twice a year, I'll just like out of nowhere be like, I need one of those.
Nice.
Those specifically.
That's hilarious. I think that chain actually ended up making a store-bought version, because we actually have Friendlies in our fridge right now.
The little teeny sundaes?
No. We actually have like a full, like, it's a large, like, what is it, pint or gallon? Yeah, gallon.
Yeah, they, hot tip, the, one of the Friendlies things they sell in the store is the ice cream cake variety of ice cream, and it's the blue gel ice cream in the middle of the ice cream cake, the crunchies. And
nice.
So it's like ice cream without the cake.
Ooh, okay.
It's so,
I will look out for that one.
And just this moment, I realized that many a time in high school for lunch, I would have like a pint of milk and a frozen bag of Reese's Pieces
Oh,
miniatures.
wow.
Like,
That's
that was
solid.
my lunch.
That's solid.
No adults intervened there. No one was like, "Is that? Should you?"
Hey,
be?
man. It was the
Yeah.
90s. It's fine.
It's true. It's true. Also, I remembered Klondike Bar. One of my grandfathers, he had a false wall in the basement with a lock on it that he had a freezer behind filled with Klondike bars.
That is the next level of protective of Klondike.
Oh yeah, because one of my uncles would come and like steal his ice cream, and so he literally, it was like it had a padlock that was behind like a panel that you lifted up and unlocked the padlock and then open the false door. And then he also he would buy Neapolitan ice cream because it was the cheapest one, but he hated strawberries. So if you looked in his freezer, there was like 8 just strawberries left in them Neapolitan ice cream. You know, where they were like the box, like the cardboard box.
Oh,
one.
yeah. The man
strange guy.
had priorities. I respect it, man.
He did. And speaking of men, then we get the action thing with one of the worst pun titles ever for this article.
Yeah.
Tell the people what this says.
Delivering the mail.
Get it? M-A-L-E?
I don't, though, because there has nothing to do with M-A-I-L with this.
No.
Why is it? What is the pun?
It's, yeah.
It makes zero
this is
sense.
bad. No, but people are like, okay,
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
it. Yeah, and it's like this trio of TV heroes rips apart macho cliches so easily, the guys barely break a sweat. And I'm like, are you trying to imply that Kevin, Sorbo, and Chuck Norris are not macho cliches?
Yeah.
Because that's not correct.
Yeah, I mean, that was the whole basis of those shows, was that they were macho cliches.
And it's a 3-way interview with all 3 of them together with TV Guide. So it's very... So, again, as a Samo Hung fan, and he's really the odd man out here, this interview is bizarre because he's clearly significantly smarter than the other 2 dudes. So they're like, you know, they're just answering dumb questions, and then he will have this like long, well thought out, knowledgeable answer about like stunt work and like filmmaking.
I just picture him after the interview, just like quickly taking off the mic and being like, God, I gotta get back to China. Like,
These dumb
these
people.
idiots.
Yeah. And yeah, because it's like, Kevin, what's your worst Hercules-related injury? Second season, I was doing a sword fight with a guy, and I had to duck under him, and he's coming from behind me, and he was supposed to miss me, but he cracked open the back of my skull. They rushed me to the hospital. I got a 3-inch gash back there. And then he's like, Samo, he goes, I'm a stuntman, so a lot of things are broken. I jumped off the top of a 50-foot mountain once. I think it's okay. They say action, I jump, but not far enough, so I just start kicking in the air. And then it's like a whole description where it says, he demonstrates the sight of a man frantically pumping his legs in midair. Sorbo and Norris are bent over double laughing. It almost worked except for my knee, which is not too good. It was the next to last day of the movie, and we couldn't leave the Philippines without one more scene. I'm supposed to walk down the street having a conversation, but I can't walk, so they put me on a trolley. I move my head up and down like I'm walking. Nobody can see the difference, and we all go home. Imagine that you're doing a scene like pretending you're walking. I had a friend who made a couple of movies in Romania, and there was a scene where they were on horseback, and they needed to do pickup inserts, like close-ups of them, and they didn't have the horses anymore. So she's like, they got 2 giant Romanian dudes, and we got on their backs. So we're like saddle up on these 2 big dudes, and like obviously you can't see them, but they're like, yeah, that's how we do it.
That's hilarious. Wonderful. Hey, man.
Then
Making jobs.
you got Halle Berry. Oh yeah, making jobs, spreading America's wealth all around. This is when Halle Berry had fallen to TV star and tried. This was like her 3rd comeback, maybe, where she's playing Dorothy Dandridge on HBO, which she got a little bit of like credit for, but no one really cared.
Yeah. I do not remember this show at all. Like,
It wasn't great.
Yeah.
It wasn't great. Then she did Catwoman, and everyone was like, oh God. And then she was like, here, look at my boobs. It's Swordfish. And everyone was like, okay, come on back. You're back. It's fine now.
All it takes.
All it takes. And then we have the article with, I'm surprised that what is this? So it's Randy Savage and is it Kevin Nash?
Yeah.
That they okayed this photo.
Yeah.
This is like them in action with the worst looking grimaces I've seen on their faces ever.
They don't look very tough. They look confused.
Yeah.
But
they look like they tasted something bad and it's windy.
Yeah. But also maybe that was the commentary because the whole article is about the fall of WCW. Maybe they wanted them to look awkward. Maybe I'm giving too much credit, though.
Possibly. Although they did think that stuff out with TV Guide. But this was... I just flipped the page and it says, Big Sexy Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
Age 40. This 7'1", 367-pounder. There's no way he was 7'1", 367.
No way.
I remember Brutus the Barber Beefcake worked at the MBTA station in downtown Crossing, Boston for a while. I don't know if you know that story.
No.
After 9/11, they had to evacuate the downtown Crossing T station once because someone found a white powder and they thought it was anthrax, but it was Brutus the Barber Beefcake's cocaine.
No.
And he was the guy who sold the tokens for the transportation. He was the token guy, and his cocaine caused an anthrax scare. Yeah, you can look that. That's a true story.
Sad.
But he would always be like 7'2", and I'm like, he was a big dude. I'm 6'3". He was probably an inch or two taller than me, but the dude was not 7 feet tall. Like, why do they lie about that?
You know, gotta make him look tough. Gotta make him sound bigger.
And so if my wrestling history isn't that great, but what I've picked up from having so many friends who love wrestling and who've been on the show is WCW essentially kind of poached a ton of WWF stars at this time.
To be fair, though, I wouldn't say poached. WWF was kicking them to the curb because they were they're too old. And WCW was very smart about knowing they still were great on the mic, and they drew a crowd. WCW was very little wrestling. It was a lot of talk on the mic and sketches, and it was brilliant, I thought. I really was impressed by it, like, thinking back to using what you have. You know, they're not great wrestlers. Scott Hall, couldn't even lift someone anymore. He used to have to do his razor's edge by putting him on the ropes and, picking him up from the ropes and dumping him on the mat, you know? But, as kids, no one cared because they were hilarious on the mic, you know? I thought it was a brilliant move by WCW. They took a bunch of guys who that WWF didn't want anymore, and ended up rehiring them after the WCW fall because they had such a big following.
Because they rebuilt them. So these guys in the past would have just been doing high school gym, local shows like Snuka, or Honky Tonk Man Forever. But they managed to get them out. I love the last line in this article too. It's from Randy Macho Man Savage, and he goes, "If people don't care about you, it doesn't mean a thing," says Savage, kind of like winking at a girl in the dark. I'm like, is it okay? Sure.
I'll take it, I guess.
Yes. Then this was amazing. On the page next to us, there's a legal notice.
Yeah, right?
There's a Toys R Us antitrust litigation suit. And it's like, have you bought toys between January 1st, 89 and May 13th, 99? Which, who hasn't?
Yep.
And this is a Toys R Us antitrust class action suit. They're basically saying that Hasbro and Mattel had an underhanded deal with Toys R Us to give them preferred stock of all these hot toys.
Wow.
And so it was this huge class action suit. I'm wondering what happened with this.
Yeah. Very weird.
I imagine they lost.
Yeah.
Have you ever joined a class action suit like that?
I've done it once, and it was a sign up online, and then I never heard anything. So
I've done a bunch. Your information was stolen, and then a year later you get a check for $18.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You know what's frustrating? At my work, I work in a mailroom, and I opened up a check that was from a class action lawsuit for the company I work at, and that check was for $3,800. I was like, I've never gotten a class action suit.
Companies get the big things,
they do.
I worked at a mailroom in college. I worked at our CBS affiliate, and it was, speaking of Anthrax, after 9/11, and we had to suit up every morning and open and inspect all the mail. And for the first month, I would say there was a lag between people who worked there realizing that people were going to be looking at packages they had delivered to them at work and what was in them before they could switch and find something else.
Yep.
But it was definitely things they didn't want mailed to their homes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
I'm sure you found some interesting items.
I really enjoyed putting that inspected stamp on those. And they'd come down and get it, and you'd just like give them the nod.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the best part about Anthrax.
Here's your sex toy.
And there was, I don't know who this dude is. It's like WCW Road Wild. This is an ad for like the local, because this is a Baltimore edition, but like their local pay-per-view. And it's this like Chippendales looking dude. This is on page 21 of the PDF.
That is Buff Bagwell. And that
Buff
is
Bagwell.
the Buff Bagwell. So what's interesting is Buff Bagwell was an ex-porn star who became a wrestler, and he joined up, and he was in the NWO, you know, and like he was the pretty boy. But my God, this picture of him is kind of terrifying.
It's sort of Rico Suave. He's clearly going bald, but has tried to do like the George Clooney Caesar.
Yeah.
He's got little teeny like Gary Oldman Dracula sunglasses on. Like a horseshoe goatee, a choker that I presume says NWO. It looks like a tribal tattoo.
Yep.
Super oiled up, no body hair.
Yep.
And my favorite thing is it says also this week, and there's an insert of Bill Paxton looking really concerned from the movie A Simple Plan. And those are the only two pictures on this whole page.
It looks like he's looking at his abs concerned.
Yes. Like, oh, God, what's that? I think I'm worried about that. Which I have to imagine somebody did on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's perfect. That Buff Bagwell poster... I said poster. It
totally is a poster, though.
That's a poster.
Yeah,
like, somebody had that up in their locker somewhere.
That awoke some young men. I think that picture,
absolutely,
made them realize some things about themselves. So good
I
for
would
Buff.
love to see the outtakes from that photo. Or just like him looking at the negatives with the grease pencil, being like, oh yeah, this one. Yeah, this one. Yep.
Yep, that's not oiled enough in this one. Keep moving.
Also reminds me of my favorite line from Rico Suave.
What's that?
Take me home to meet your parents. I'm sure they'll love my appearance. Not a rhyme.
So close, though.
It's close. Yeah. So let's dive in here. Saturday night, what are you doing?
So Saturday night, I was looking, and I mean, I would probably be watching WCW Road Wild, which is the pay-per-view.
With Dennis Rodman.
With Dennis Rodman. Did you read that Dennis Rodman article, by the way? I
couldn't bring myself to it. I saw the pull quote, and I was like,
intense, that article. Yeah. There was like kind of sexual assault in the middle of the interview. It is awkward, very awkward.
That sounds right. I don't know how he's gotten away with. There's no way that Dennis Rodman has not assaulted people.
Oh, yeah.
And he's never been like, maybe everyone just are like, yeah, we all know.
Yeah.
It's Dennis Rodman.
I think that's partially it.
Remember when he became like best friends with Kim Jong-il?
Yeah, he was over there a bunch of times, man. I think he still considers them friends.
Well, imagine being a dictator and just some random weird celebrity. You're like, yeah, go get him.
Yeah. Wild. But I will give Dennis Rodman credit. Whenever he is credited on a show, he will list the Bulls, but he will also still list member of an NWO. like he took being NWO for life for real,
Yeah.
Like he's it.
Fair enough.
But I was looking at Saturday, so for like prime time, like Land Before Time was on TV and Mars Attacks.
You wanted to cry.
Yeah. But Also, White Sox were playing that night, so probably would have flipped on just to see what how the Sox are losing, just to see real quick and then flip off. And then at 9:30, Tom Green. Were you a Tom Green fan?
I loved that show, and I don't tend to like cringe stuff.
Yeah.
But it was so unlike anything else. And I, too, had a cable access show as a kid.
Nice.
So that aspect appealed to me. It was... I think it's hard to put into context for people now how nobody was doing that.
Yeah. It was so weird. One of my favorite sketches on the Tom Green show that I remember that really, made me think about, I guess I'll call it art in a way. He had a sketch called The Canterbury Tales, and it was just him in a dress pulling on a string a rotisserie chicken, and he was just going, walking around Hollywood and not responding to anyone talking to him. And that was just the sketch. And I was just like, what madness is this?
Someone paid him for this.
Just insane.
Have you seen the documentary, the new one?
No, I haven't.
It's really good. So he made a documentary last year about that whole time.
Okay.
And it's very well thought out. It's very introspective. He actually cries a lot in it. But it's sort of like I knew he did stand-up after the Tom Green show. And as a stand-up, I always thought he was one of those people who was like, I guess I'll go do stand-up now.
Yeah.
But he actually was doing stand-up in Toronto in high school.
Oh, okay.
Like he was a teenager going to do stand-up. And then the story of how that cable access show made it to MTV. And then he's basically like, what the fuck was that about? He's literally like, how weird, that 3 years.
Yeah.
He's like, Jesus, that was bizarre. He is admitting how strange it is. And I love Freddy Got Fingered.
Yeah, it is. That is
and I love it.
Movie.
It's insane. And even in 99 when it came out, or 2000, I remember sitting in the theater going, this whole movie is going to the studio. Really? You're going to let me do this? Seriously? Somebody say no. Is someone going to say no? That's what that movie was. And he basically admits that, the documentary. He can't believe. Oh, it's just what a weird time where that became a thing.
Yeah. To this day, at work sometimes, some of us will just be like, backwards man, the backwards man,
Yep.
the backwards man.
I work backwards fast as you can. Daddy, would you like some sausages?
Yeah.
How Rip Torn's so ridiculously violent in that.
It is a weird movie. I always appreciated his weirdness.
He keeps beating the shit out of Harlan Williams for no reason, and he breaks his leg, and then later he grabs him and kicks a hole in the cast.
Yep.
And he goes, oh shit, it's your dad. It's why?
Very strange movie.
Yeah, but it's such a small blip in time, too.
Yeah.
That was, pre-Jackass.
Yeah.
Which was sort of, but not quite the same thing. It was this weird bridge show.
Yeah, yeah.
That wasn't quite the same, and there was nothing really.
Yeah, there wasn't any
after it
damage to himself really. It wasn't the way Jackass was. It was kind of the super early precursor to Eric Andre, I'd say. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, but in hindsight, not as mean-spirited.
I agree. I don't think there was any mean spirit in Tom Green. He was he was mostly making fun of himself, I feel.
Yes. Yeah. Or his family.
Oh, yeah.
But, but yeah, it was just so weird. And I have to mention Buckaroo Banzai is on, which is a movie I'll watch anytime it's on.
Nice. Yes. I'm not so familiar with it, but I've always known it as a classic.
It's so good and so weird and so ahead of its time. There's so many jokes in that movie. It's just thick with jokes. Every time I watch it, I've seen that movie 100 times and I find new jokes in that movie. There's two different warring groups of aliens that are kind of based on ants. So there's red ones and black ones. But the red ones all came to Earth on Halloween night, 1938, whenever the War of the Worlds broadcast was. But all the human names they have are John and then some weird last name. So they increasingly get more and more strange. There's one called John Many Jars and John Big Booty. Just bizarre.
Nice.
And then it's outside the purview, but there's an ad for it in here. And since it's the wrestling issue, MTV's True Life on Saturday at 3 p.m. It's I'm a Wrestler with Chyna, Chyna and Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Oh, Triple H before he was Triple H. Yeah.
Who's kind of a piece of shit, right? Am I remembering that?
As far as I know, see, what's so funny is I was WWF as a kid, but then when they went all over to WCW, I was only WCW. I did not watch any WWF during that time. And then after WCW, I kind of grew up and didn't really watch wrestling after that, you know.
This is interesting because it focuses on them, but it also says, but also a wrestler who's at the other end of his career, nearing the end of his career, and it's Tony Atlas.
Wow.
And I remember going to see Tony Atlas all the time here in Boston. He would do like every high school gym show, like all these local local wrestling shows, Tony Atlas all the time. So I'm actually curious to see this.
Yeah, that's crazy. Just because, like, I didn't realize he was around in 99. Like, he had to be pretty old at that point.
Yeah, but he was still jacked.
Yeah. It's incredible how
don't know how natural it was.
Yeah, sure.
But still.
fair.
But still, still impressive.
Also that night, Behind the Music. I liked Behind the Music a lot. I used to really get into it. Like, I liked hearing the story of, you know, an album or a band or something. So, like, I always would flip that on just to see who it was, you know.
I'll watch a music documentary about pretty much any music group, even if I don't like the group. Like, I'll enjoy the, you know. And there's so many good ones. I like both. Well, I'm not a huge Gwar fan, but the Gwar one from the last couple of years is really good. The Ronnie James Dio one from a couple of years ago was freaking great.
Yeah.
But yeah, Behind the Music was so good. And it got a little bit too cliche, cringy later once they got the formula.
Yeah.
But I think the one that ruined it was, what's his name? Oh my God, he was like a 70s teen heartthrob guy, and he got in a car accident and put a guy in a wheelchair. Oh man.
Not Donny Osmond.
No, it was... People are screaming it out there, whatever they're listening to the song right now. But you know the one, and then like the guy who he put in the wheelchair confronts him, and he's like, "I hate you, man." And it was like, and then after that, they were all like that. I was like, ugh.
Yeah. It's you know, as all good things must fall. I feel.
Yes, it's true. It's true. Where are we? Sunday. What are you doing?
Sunday. So Sunday, I was looking at. You got probably some celebrity deathmatch, you know? Like, it's Sunday, it's a little bit of a lazy day. I'll watch some of that. Also, probably cartoons like Darkwing Duck, you know?
Yeah, Darkwing Duck's great.
Darkwing Duck is a classic. And also Pinocchio is on. I do love Pinocchio, you know.
The original Disney
Original
one?
Disney, yeah.
There's some terrifying stuff in
Yeah,
there.
man. Like, Monstro as a kid terrified me. You know, the Great Stromboli was terrifying. Pleasure Island turning into that scene where the shadow turns into the donkey.
Yeah.
Like, that ruined me as a kid.
Oh, yeah. That's haunting.
Yeah, that's intense. Also, some X-Files were on. I never got into X-Files when it was on, but I've always been curious about it because I felt like it could be up my alley. So I feel now I would want to take a look at some X-Files.
It's interesting. It's
not
very
great.
slow.
Okay, fair.
It's very slow. And part of this is 2020 hindsight. It's very evident that they were making up the lore as they went along. Like, they had no plan.
Yeah, fair. They kind of lost it the way Lost did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, like Fringe is one of my all-time favorite shows, and it was guys that worked on Lost, and they were like, we have a plan from the start, to a fault almost. The network was like, we're going to cancel your show, and they're like, we have a 5-season plan. They're like, yeah, make it, speed it up. Like,
fair.
Whatever you had planned for season 3, we want that right. But a lot of animation, which is you're doing animation now.
Yeah.
Were you interested in trying to go into animation growing up? Or?
I never was. I always wanted to... I like telling stories, you know? The animation now is... So, that really came from... I wanted to look into generative AI. And I know generative AI is a huge, like, issue right now, especially in the States. And there's a lot of people against it. And always in my art form, when I was doing improv, in my band and everything, I always wanted, in my stand-up, I always like to challenge what the norms are to help me figure out why people feel one way or the other about something. And because there was this huge backlash against generative AI, I was like, I need to explore it myself to learn about it. And, like, it's been a very interesting learning process. Like, it's a lot harder to do than people think it is. Like, sure, you can get, if you put in a, you know, corgi twerking on a stripper pole, it'll give you some stupid version of that.
If you didn't already have a video.
If you, yeah, you know, like everyone does. But, like, to mix two different specific characters in a scene to get emotion out of these characters, like, that takes a lot of, like, description. Your words mean, like, you have to think about what each and every word means, because most words have multiple meanings. So you really have to get deliberate about what words you're using if you want to get a specific image. So, I don't know. That's where that part of it came in. I never,
Sure.
you know, I never was that interested in animation, but I wanted to explore this new thing that people have qualms about. You know?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm one of the people who does not like it.
It's fair. It's fair.
Which is, it's more... I mean, my big thing is, we were talking a little bit before we started recording, I'm like a huge comic book guy. I have been my whole life, so I'm like a super art nerd and like art styles. And also in the comic world, like so many of those artists got completely fucked. Like Jack Kirby, I bring up on the show all the time. Like, every single major pop culture thing right now, Jack Kirby created in the 60s and got paid a $500 a week salary for and sure. That's it. And so it's sort of a variation of that in some ways, where it's almost even worse in that they're not even getting their salary for kind of pulling the styles. So, like, for in sure. that regard.
And I understand that concern. Where I started to question was, where does actual original art come from? Like, where do you sure. learn art? And most artists spend their days copying someone else's art.
Absolutely.
And then they pull what they like from it and mix it together in a unique way. I don't see where the difference is in AI doing it or a person doing it. And really, I think where most people have the issue, it is the exploitation or the oppression of someone. But Van Gogh died fucking penniless. That wasn't AI's fault, you know?
No,
but I 100% agree. This whole story that I wrote is very much against those in power and talking right. about how bad we've become about this. But to fight against the tool is a losing battle, because there will be new tools that can be used to exploit people. I think we should be fighting against the people themselves who are doing the exploiting.
The other thing is, I mean, it's also, there's also pieces of it where, like, some of it's a bill of goods, where it's clearly like bros selling basically art timeshares, like the pieces of that too. But it's the core, I think, of the people who invented it, of what they want it to be, bothers me in that it's like non-creative people who desperately want to be artists and can't.
For sure.
So I think, yeah, any medium, like, you know, like it's basically sampling.
Yeah.
But it's like somebody, it's like Puff Daddy though, being like, I'm a drug dealer with a bunch of money and I want to be a hip hop artist, so I'm just going to take this entire song and change one thing and then not call it a cover. You know, it's like, it's that use of it.
I could,
that's sort of the
for
thing.
sure. And I definitely believe that there is regulation needed amongst it, you know, like, definitely, like, deep fakes terrify the hell out of me, you know, and, like, stuff that is, like, very much direct pulls that are very copied. Yes, 100%. But I mean, that also exists in regular art where that is, you know, and I'm not saying that justifies it. It's just we should then go after those people who are doing that, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's a problem that we have with all the technology now for creative outlets, in that, and I say this all the time, it's that anyone can do it, and the problem is anyone can do it. So without a gatekeeper or without the learning curve, you know, for TV shows basically on YouTube, for podcasts, for whatever, you get a lot of garbage.
For sure, 100%.
So, but you also get some people who probably would have been able to do it eventually anyway, who just now have a shortcut and are doing something that's more pure for them. But it's a lack of gatekeeper and giving everyone a tool that probably not everyone should use, because we don't need to see everything.
For sure. But I mean, I think that's on us as the audience too. Like, sure, we accept a lot of shit as art these days, you know, like, so like that is on us, you know. And the thing is like the way that, like how you mentioned the way it was created and by who and how they want it used. Well, so then I think there's even more of a need for people who have a message, who have an artistic viewpoint, to go in there and find the artistic value of this tool, to go in and tell morally valuable stories, you know, so that those things now are viewed as the pinnacle of what AI generative art is, and then people can say, okay, this is where we should be aiming at, you know. Sure. And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's, you know, I'm not saying that the bad guy usually wins, you know, of course. Yeah. You know, so there are. And also, I definitely think one of the big things that I worry about with generative AI is, you know, power consumption, you know, like, yes, which is a huge question, you know, like, that's a lot of technology. I was reading about this Yale professor who was trying to look into how much power it does take. It's a hard thing to figure out because there is so much AI in the back end of things, and we're only looking at data centers and how much energy they use. And that's everything, and all technology is using that, you know? So, right. Like, we like to find scapegoats sometimes, you know? And a lot of times those new tools are the easiest to exploit by those who are in power. And this is a newer tool that is being exploited by people, you know?
I think it also is the newest and most obvious annoying thing that is sort of a final straw in a lot of ways. So, like, you know, as a huge music fan, and this is my old man soapbox, you know, but like, I basically complain, like, we haven't had an innovative, truly new genre of music since hip hop.
Yeah.
Really haven't. Yeah, everything else has been recombinations.
I agree.
It's just like, oh, it's country hip hop, or like there's been no pure new thing.
Yeah.
And part of that is because the world's so much smaller, like we were talking about, accents going away and homogenization, is stuff isn't allowed to sort of grow and form in a little bit of a vacuum and develop its own flavor. Like the sourdough starter isn't getting the fermentation it needs. So, you know, where like different cities had music scenes that all had a little bit of the same thing, and, you know, and that doesn't happen because stuff can go around the world immediately. And also there's that innovation of amateurness that is, you know, hey, I don't know how to play the guitar, so I taught myself and I play it wrong, but it sounds cool, and it's this new weird way that person has a style. But
why wouldn't you believe that there is a way to use AI wrong, but I taught myself how to do that, and it creates something? I haven't seen it. But it's so new. Of course you haven't seen it.
But I haven't seen it in the sort of previous tools that I'm lumping it in with. So, like, for example, say auto-tune or home recording, which is amazing. Like, you can literally be like, I want my guitar to sound like, you know, Tony Iommi's amp from the second Black Sabbath album, and there it is, or whatever. But because your first draft, you can then manipulate to make everything correct. It's so, like, flat. You know what I mean? Like, those little blips or like moments don't. I haven't heard them in music in the last few years, and I'm talking like new artists, not necessarily bands that have been around forever doing this stuff, because they sound fully formed. There's not like an evolution in there, and so like the places, weirdly the places I see that stuff's in like food, like chefs innovating, because like there's no shortcut to that. Like you have to just keep practicing and experimenting till you get what a thing is that you do. So I just haven't seen it in filmmaking or music or the other pieces that technology has allowed people to do a specific thing.
For sure. And I feel like part of that too, though, on the flip side, is how much we used to be introduced to more amateur and innovative things. And that's partially because of these huge companies that have just bought the airwaves. And,
there's two companies that own everything.
Yeah, so I think that actually has more to do with why things are looking and sounding the same than the tools that are being used to create the things. Because I still do see, like, have you ever heard the band that I'm just makes me want to stop doing art in any form because they're just so good at it is Igor. You ever hear Igor?
No.
They're Igorrr. And I think their look at music is so innovative and different. I've never heard anything like it. And their latest music video is AI made. And it crushed me because I was like, God damn it, I'm trying to do something this important, and like, it's genius. There's meaning in it, there's emotion, there's just, you could tell there is work that went into it. And we don't see that so much because so much of this generative AI is in these quick little forms that people can quickly post on social media. I think that's also part of it too, is like, we're able to post unfinished things so much quicker these days.
And people do. Like, there are comics I see new every single set they ever do. I'm like, dude, no one needs to see this.
Exactly. There's not enough. People aren't taking the time to hone something, to craft something, and it is just get it out there. It's a quantity over quality these days.
They don't take a failure, like, because it's always like I don't go out nearly as much to stand up anymore, but I would get her being mean to people because I'm like, well, you just be honest with them and then they either quit or get better. Like,
true.
Otherwise, like, people are just like, this is fine. And I was like, no, this is not. Like, either quit or get better. Like, that's where I'm like, for like all art, like, quit or get better. Like, and there are people, I don't see either of those things happening. There's a lot of people, and like I look on like Tubi, like I'm a big horror movie guy, like all the mediocre garbage horror movies that like these dudes who made these movies just because they want to hang out with like stars from a convention. They're like, yeah, it's like a retro slasher, but I'm like, why have you done this? You know what I mean? Like, because you wanted to post on social media about it making a movie, or like, it's me and Tony Todd, or like whatever, instead of actually making the thing. Like that sincerity of like making the thing seems to be missing. And I'm sure it exists. It's just so much harder to find. And like the example of that band you were talking about, not knowing their stuff, but I imagine regardless of the tool they used, if they did a hand-drawn animation video, it would have been the same. Like it's well, but I don't know.
Part of something that I find interesting when I'm working with generative AI, it becomes a conversation. I'm not taking the first thing that I put in. I look at it and I see how it interpreted my words. And then I'm saying, okay, how can I change my words to get something else? It becomes this conversation with the world, if you're really looking at it, because it is pulling these images from what most people feel this word means, based on how people had responded to previous creations, and there is this, I like that there is this like I also have to let go of my beliefs sometimes to see what it's giving back to me, to understand what the world is seeing that I'm throwing out there. I feel like that's a little, little artsy bullshit, but
no, it makes sense. Like, because when I talk to people I know who are writers or whatever, like a writer friend of mine was like, AI can give you a C- script. And again, you're starting with the script and story is yours, and then
exactly.
So it's like a different thing. But the people who are like, AI is going to give me a C- script. He's like, and then you'd need a writer who's good to come in and make that an A. He's like, so basically it's taking the job of like the writing assistant.
Yeah.
So who would do like research for you, that kind of stuff, which isn't great, but also that's somewhat helpful. He goes, the problem is the studios will go, what's wrong with a C-?
Yeah.
And so and then they sort of train an audience to also be like, what's wrong with the C-?
100%.
And then you're like, a lot. And, during the strike, it was terrifying to me that the streamers, their vision of what the future of entertainment is that, Skulk's going to be sitting in his house on a Saturday night and he's going to go, I want to watch a romantic comedy set in the 30s starring Chuck Norris and Marilyn Monroe and me. Mm-hmm. Make it. And then it'll make some garbage and the person will be like, yay. And it's like, I don't think people want that. And again, it's only pulling from stuff we already have, like a weird post-apocalyptic junkyard. We can only, like, everything's stopped here and we just have to pull from, and I think that's where culture's been going, especially in the 21st century, where it's like retro or like mixing this thing and this thing. And so I think that's why it suffers, because it's sort of
I agree.
Orbiting that realm.
I agree, but I actually think that's actually a symptom of just recently, as humans, we've been able to record. Recording is a very new thing. Like, I look back at, like, in the 40s. Like, I remember my family went to some state fair, and Herman's Hermits was playing, And we sat down, we watched it. There's, like, 20 people watching, because even back then they were old. Like, like...
they were Hermits Hermits.
Yeah, exactly. But I remember them talking about, they spent a lot of time just talking to the audience, and they were probably because they were just tired, like needed a break. Yeah. But I remember them talking about how they were so confused by modern musicians, because they were like, tonight, you heard us play a lot of songs from different bands, and some people find that, like, why are you playing other band songs? He's like, that's what we grew up doing, because people wouldn't see bands for a long time, so you would play other people's bands. You loved it when someone else played someone else's band, and they played you, It was part of... So ownership is a very new thing of your art and your music, and whatever your art is. Ownership hasn't existed for so long. And I think that's part of, and especially here in America, we get very obsessed with ownership because we live in a very capitalistic society.
Well, yeah, and it's always shocking to people when you point out how different our copyright laws are to other countries, where, like, after 100 years, people are like, yeah, but here we're like, no,
yeah,
this is forever, and it's like,
it's crazy, and like. My wife's from Greece. I'm lucky I get to go to Greece usually once a year, and being able to just experience outside of America. And it's very funny, in Europe, this generative AI thing is not as scary to other people, because they have faith that their laws are keeping the exploitation and the corruption out, And here we're not so confident in that, especially these days. Yes, so of course
for good reason. Yeah.
But again, we will continue to fight this fight against tools. That'll never stop. But we can stop this fight if we stop worrying about the tools and just take care of the people who are doing this. At least that's my opinion. And it's a much harder thing to do,
It also is difficult because often you're like, oh, well, the market will sort it out, right? Like, if something's garbage, people won't support it, and then it'll go away. But the problem is that sometimes the tool is changing the market in that nobody's making money on a thing. So now that lever of like quality control is gone. You know,
it is. And that's, I feel like that is is very American of us, you know, the market, because the market doesn't fix it. The market 100% doesn't fix it, especially when you're talking about one or two companies owning 95% of everything that's out there, you know? So we do need to change how we're looking at it. You know?
Yeah, and I swear I won't go on this all night. We'll move on to Monday. But
no.
I look at like
it's a good conversation. I like it, man.
Yeah.
It's good.
I look at stand-up specials, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you currently can record your own stand-up special, have it be 100% professional, looking for a pretty low investment, post it on YouTube for free, and you have a stand-up special on there with everyone else. There's so much garbage, like 90% of them are terrible. And it was only 6 or 7 years ago that there would be, you'd need to have you'd get a deal for a special with a streamer or a network. They would pay for the special, and then it would have some gravitas, not just because you're like, oh, they made it, but like they're going to promote it. There's, you know, presumably someone said this person's good, we'll put them on there. So there was that aspect of it where, yes, a bunch of people who probably were good and should have had specials didn't get them, but at the same time, you could go, okay, this is at a certain level, and then it can be like, fuck you, Chris D'Elia, I don't need to watch your special, it's garbage.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, there's 700,000 of them, and so that path doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just devalued everything, and it's so much harder to get the gems, you know?
100%. And like, that's definitely like us learning what social media is turning us into.
Yeah.
Like, that is a crazy aspect that I don't know, you know, like, I can't imagine, and it just keeps moving faster, you know? Yes. So like,
yeah,
I don't know. That is a very unique and weird issue.
For all creatives.
Yeah, for all creatives.
So that's why I'm like,
yeah.
So any sort of shortcut that gets introduced, I feel like just accelerates that more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, you know, so I always get a little bit weary of it. But at the same time, I'm like, look, I used to work in radio, and I have better equipment here in my house than I had 25 years ago at a very expensive studio, and, you know, have a wider audience or whatever, and for like way less money. And that's amazing, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, maybe someone thinks what I'm doing is garbage or whatever, but, the fact that everyone can get that is, you know, it's a double-edged sword. So, you know, who's going to be the next WCW? That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
We don't have a Randy Macho Man Savage in the year 2025 for a reason.
Yeah. All these wrestlers with their regular names, you know, being regular people. I need a new Undertaker, you know?
That's right. Yeah. But even then, like, if you look at like UFC replacing WWF and WCW, and they're, you know, obviously those people have a skill set. Not that wrestlers don't, but but it's like, it's become a different, like, the people who I knew who used to be aspiring rappers are now aspiring UFC fighters.
I can see that. Yeah.
So it's like a very strange,
It's,
but then at the same time, like, I'm looking at Sunday night here, and there's a show called Live from the Shark Cage. Sharks are observed. So, I mean, it's 2 hours of, you know, of camera in a shark cage. So
yeah, that was what was funny going through this, actually, was that I was like looking at it, I was like, there still was a lot of crap out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Just like, what is this?
And part of it was because there was hours to fill.
Yeah.
You know, and that's sort of the problem now, that we have like unlimited hours to fill, so nothing gets pushed out.
Yeah, indeed. Like that. Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah,
because I'm big on, when you have no rules, you tend to make bad art, because
I agree.
You don't have to think about stuff or innovate or come up with anything clever to, you know, which is why I love, like, so many low budget movies were so innovative and interesting and sincere, because they were trying to do something, you know, more interesting to make up for a lack somewhere else, you know, same with music or whatever.
100%.
So it's when the sky's the limit, like, I often get bored.
100%. I actually just went to go see a talk. I'm such an idiot. I can't remember his name. He's a somewhat famous Russian artist who grew up in the USSR, and he is actually now exploring generative AI for visual stuff. And one of the interesting things that he said was, it was so easy to make art in the USSR because obstacles create art. He's like, when you have to get over an obstacle, that's when... And I think that's actually, not to get back on my soapbox, but I think there are actually a ton of obstacles in generative AI when you're trying to create something with purpose.
Right.
You know?
Right. When you're trying to actually use it for an outcome.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. You know? And so I do find that. And so I do agree with that, like, you can't have everything open to you. I sometimes am in Logic creating music, and I'm like, there are just too many sounds. Like, I don't even know where to go with this. Like,
right. I can't mess with this amp for 10 minutes until I find something that sounds cool. I could literally just get any guitar sound I want in a second.
Yeah.
And especially with comedy, it's sometimes misinterpreted as like adversary or like suffering for it. And I'm like, no. That's, you don't need to do that. That's in your way.
Yeah.
This is like, hey, you can't swear, so come up with something funnier. Like I remember Ann Beats, I had her on the show, and she was in one of the original SNL writers. Mm-hmm. And she was saying they couldn't say tits, so they said tips when they would talk about them, which is so much weirder and funnier.
Yeah.
And it's like, you wouldn't have done that if you weren't given this rule, you know, like that kind of stuff. Which is, you know, is a whole different topic, but that's where I think it's at. It's like, without that, you know, hey, you have to work within these parameters and still do something interesting. You don't get as many interesting things.
I agree. Yeah. No, I 100% agree. Yeah.
So let's jump to Monday.
All right.
We're skipping. Oh man, TBS has an original movie on here. This looks god awful. This is on Sunday night, but it's called First Daughter, starring Mariel Hemingway, Gregory Harrison, Monica Kenna, and Doug Savant. American terrorists have kidnapped the president's daughter. Now a federal agent and a river guide must risk it all to bring her back alive. This is like a Mad Libs movie.
Yeah, man. I don't even know what to expect from that movie.
River guide? Like what?
Insane.
Yeah, that's like, okay, I'm like, all right, you get Escape from New York kind of thing, but no, it's modern and they're American terrorists, and why are they on a river? Yeah.
You know, you'd have to watch the movie to know. So
yeah.
I also, on Sunday night, I had this moment looking at the TV guide where I felt that, like, a 10 o'clock lineup, because it was like All in the Family, WKRP, Growing Pains, and Stooges. Yeah. And I had that memory of, like, when those came on, I knew I had to start getting ready for bed because I had to be up at, like, 5:30 in the morning for high school. And, like, I really felt that for the first time since high school. It really, like, shook me for a moment.
Oh, yeah, it's like a visceral reaction of that. Yeah, no, for sure. Oh, man, and also, Eat Your Hollywood Story, it's... They've done 2 in 1, because sometimes they would do this for the full hour. It's Hervé Villechaize and Bill Bixby. Together again for the first time. They're the peanut butter and chocolate of actors.
Indeed.
Bill Bixby and Hervé Villechaize. I will say Hervé Villechaize, fascinating guy. Always carried a gun.
Okay.
was a fine art artist before he moved to America from the small village in France that he grew up in.
Takes all kinds.
Yeah. Yep. And a drunken psycho would often take shots at people. So Monday, what are we doing?
Monday, Monday was Monday Night Nitro. So, like, definitely that was WCW night, you know? But I decided to look at it from my point of view now, because I probably wouldn't watch that now, you know. And I saw Antiques Roadshow. Hell yeah.
I watch it now
to this day. Like, it's,
all the time.
Yeah.
Love it. Are you a guesser?
I'm not a guesser. I just enjoy it. You know,
yeah. I enjoy it, and I'm a guesser.
Yeah, fair. And I'm sure that's a very fun part. I just am so bad. I just have no clue. I'm just always like, I'm just not even going to try, you know.
I also love they do revisited ones where they'll then tell you if it actually went up or down.
Yeah.
And they have the sound effects.
Mm-hmm,
so if it goes down, it's like... just like this, yeah. So that's even... Yeah, you'll find me at home and just watching a thing going... like, that's my guess. But there's something really interesting on this night. So we're in... What are we in? We're in August 99. So it's summer. But this is when the network started to try and experiment with summer series. So they were like, what can we do when we have sort of a captive audience, especially younger people? They're staying up a little later. So they launched a U.S. remake of a popular British game show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yes.
And this was a shockingly massive hit. Like,
huge.
Nothing had been this. We hadn't had a primetime game show in like decades.
Oh, yeah.
And this kind of changed everything. Like, because this did so well is why they started doing Survivor in 2000.
Yeah.
And why they started importing more sort of British format shows. And to a degree, why we started getting more reality TV in the early 2000s. And it's funny that this is the debut.
Oh, I didn't catch that was the debut. That's wild.
Yeah, that's first
crazy.
episode.
Oh my God, I didn't catch that. Wow.
Yeah, because then we got like Weakest Link was the next big one. And, they were like, okay, let's do Big Brother again. Mm-hmm. So Big Brother was a UK ripoff of The Real World. They tried to do a US version that failed, and then after this did well, they brought it back again as a summer, and then it did well. Like, just very strange.
Yeah.
Very strange. And there's a thing on that night that I saw the title and thought it was something very different than it is.
Which is?
Tug-O-War. The story of Taiwan. I was like, is this like a reality game show, Tug-O-War? Because that would be on. But it's actually a primer on the Republic of China charts its rocky road to democratization since 1949. I'm like, oh, it's not like Celebrity Tug-O-War.
A little different.
Yeah, that would be a few years later.
I also saw this night, Good Night for Comedy, Strangers with Candy.
Such a good show.
Such a great show. And also UCB. UCB's show was on that night.
Yeah, they were back to back on Comedy Central.
Yeah.
This was like really the last time Comedy Central did anything interesting.
Yeah.
So like, I think South Park was 97, the UCB show, and Stranger Candy, and then they kind of, once they lost the SNL license and started doing Mad TV, and then basically just showing Half Baked all day, every day, and PCU,
Exactly.
it kind of got really bad. But Stranger Candy, to this day, that show is like shocking and offensive and really funny, and is the prime example to me of where I'm like, no, you can joke about anything.
Yeah.
You just have to be really smart and really good at it.
Yeah.
Or don't bother. Like, there's so few people with that high level of skill to be able to do that. And you're probably not that person, guys. Like, that's why. And it's because, man, some of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Stephen
amazing.
Colbert on there was so great. Oh, God.
And Amy's so funny, like just how she just does it. When I had her on the show, she was talking about shows they pitched after that that they didn't get, and she goes, she wanted to be a paralyzed detective. And I was like, waist down or neck down, and without hesitation, she's like, neck down. Like, just.
That feels very much like her.
That sounds like exactly what you would have done. Absolutely.
That's hilarious.
Celebrity Tug-O-War. Tuesday, what are you doing?
Tuesday, I got some Johnny Bravo. You know? Some
classic.
Spin City. I liked Spin City.
Underrated 90s show.
Right?
Probably in my top 3 underrated 90s shows.
I agree. That was a very good show. I mean, Michael J. Fox. He was great.
You know who's guest starring in this episode of Spin City as the obnoxious City Hall tour guide?
Who? I forgot to read like the synopsis when I was going through.
Good friend of mine, Mr. Todd Barry.
Oh, nice. Hilarious.
I totally forgot that he was on this. Yeah, he's playing an obnoxious City Hall tour guide. I feel like I need to go back and rewatch this episode.
Hilarious. And then I was looking at, I actually feel now I probably would watch Life of Birds. I'm worried as I'm getting older, I'm getting into birds, and I'm going to be a birder.
Like going to see them, or would you have like a parrot?
No, going to see them. I prefer birds, give them their space. They're flying animals. Right. They need their space. Just like fish.
Do you have a favorite?
Raven. I mean, I got a big tattoo of a raven. Like, I like the ravens. I always appreciated in the 21 Lessons of Merlin that when Arthur first meets Merlin, Merlin says he sees the raven on top of Merlin's shack, and he's like, "Oh, is that your bird?" And he's like, "No. You don't own animals. If anything, the raven owns me." I always loved that about it, That's nobody's.
Yeah. And they are, they're not a bird of prey, but they're one of those birds that is shockingly large when you see them in real life.
Gigantic,
like, whenever I've seen like an eagle, or we get hawks a lot.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Falcons. And I'm like, oh, that's not that big. And then I realize it's like 4 times higher up than I thought it was. And when it gets closer, I'm like, that thing's huge.
I noticed kind of like Tuesday kind of sucked. Like, maybe watch it behind the music or something. I also found it funny that I remember always seeing Klondike Gold Rush on QVC and thinking, it's a show about the gold rush. I want to watch this. And then I turn it on, I'm like, oh no, this is a stupid QVC show.
Yeah, they're selling really bad earrings. Also, this is the night martial law debuts.
Oh, wow.
And a very interesting thing, this is a really weird way that they've launched it, where apparently they did this with Walker, Texas Ranger previously. But so they're launching it in the summer. Again, this is like the summer series thing. For a whole week, the first week that the show is airing, new episode every night.
Oh, wow.
So they're doing the pilot tonight on Tuesday, then Wednesday there's an episode, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Kind of binging before binge.
Yeah, and I guess it worked because the show did
do well.
For like 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah.
But what a weird. It's funny that this is pre-streaming, but still you're seeing the networks panic and break down. And try to come up with new. Again, it's that innovation thing. Like the old thing's not working, so they're like, well, what else can we do? And they're sort of doing these weird experiments, and it did change stuff.
Oh yeah, 100%. Also, I'll shout out Young Frankenstein on TMC
at
10:45. I probably
a friend of mine was working with Mel Brooks, and a friend of his is a huge Frankenstein fan, and he had purchased the equipment from Young Frankenstein.
No
the
way.
Table, the Van der Graaf generator, and all this stuff.
That's from the original Frankenstein, actually.
Oh, yeah.
That's wild.
This guy's very wealthy. Yeah, he also has one of the Jaws sharks in his pool. Yeah.
Oh, my God. That's like history.
Yeah, so he has that stuff. And my friend was telling Mel Brooks that. He's like, yeah, and Mel Brooks goes, why? And he's like, that's the news. Those guys like, why would you want that? And I'm like, yeah. That's fair.
Sounds like Mel Brooks.
Those guys would just be like, what? There's difference in the generation.
Indeed.
Wednesday, what are you doing?
Wednesday, probably Starship Troopers. You know? I was a big fan. Also, Star Trek Voyager. Star Trek Voyager might be my favorite of the Star Treks.
So I've never been a Star Trek guy.
Okay.
I never liked Next Generation, although I will say there's a weird correlation between people I know who loved wrestling and who loved Next Generation. Very odd overlap there.
Interesting.
It was always way too utopian for me.
That's fair.
Star Trek.
Okay.
But in the last 10 years since doing the show, and since like I used to get hired to run panels at conventions and stuff a lot, I had to get more familiar with Star Trek because I had the characters for the show. And Voyager is the one that I thought was the best of them, although it did fall into a routine after a while.
100%.
But
definitely as they brought 7 of 9 to kind of try to break it up, and like it worked for a moment, but yeah. But like originally it was a great idea, I thought.
they're all in a alternate reality, and the doctor has to save them because he's a hologram. I'm like, oh, is this every week now? But I did enjoy more of it than I didn't compared to like a lot of the other shows. And people were like, oh, Deep Space Nine's the dark one, and I could not get into Deep Space Nine.
I couldn't either. I was just like, I don't get it. It didn't interest me.
This episode of Voyager has a guest starring role as the character of Boothby is Ray Walston.
Oh, okay.
My favorite Martian fan.
Yes. Hilarious.
Kate Mulgrew, I was told on the final day of the show, she rolled up her uniform and hid it in her purse and took it with her. And it was because, quote, so some pervert doesn't buy it.
Fair. That is good.
She's right.
You are 100% right, Kate.
Yes.
100%. Because someone would have definitely bought that.
Absolutely. Where are we? Thursday night?
Thursday night, probably back to Thursday Night Thunder, WCW, when I was younger, you know. But also, Whose Line Is It Anyway was on that night. And I was a Whose Line Is It fan, you know.
Oh, yeah.
It was a fun show. And Frasier that night. And also Daily Show was that night. I mean, that's early Daily Show.
This was the first year with Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
97, I think it started. That was the Craig Kilborn.
Yeah.
Craig Kilborn moved to the Late Late Show. They brought in Jon Stewart, who was considered kind of a TV failure. He had 3 failed shows, really. He hosted a show called Short Attention Span Theater on the early days of Comedy Central.
Wow.
Then he had the Jon Stewart Show on MTV, which did well enough that he replaced Arsenio Hall in Arsenio Hall's syndicated slot as the new Jon Stewart Show.
Wow.
And it didn't even last the whole season. So he was kind of like, what do we do with this guy? So they threw him on the Daily Show, and then that ended up being like the perfect match that really blew that show up.
Kind of weird that he's back on Daily Show. It's shocking to see. I'm kind of like, how do I feel about it? I don't know. It's kind of weird.
But it's like nostalgic for people because he was the host 25 years ago.
I mean, he's who made that show what it was.
So very weird that he's like the elder statesman. There's a strange thing on that night on AMC, which is this is sort of AMC was just sort of playing with original programming. And this is a debut of a 4-part backstage comedy observes the goings-on at a fictitious Tinseltown studio in 1937. It's a show called The Lot. And it's got Linda Cardellini in it, so this is pre-Freaks and Geeks 99.
Yeah.
And Jonathan Frakes, speaking of Star Trek, is playing a Howard Hughes-like mogul. I've never even heard of this, but it looks like it could be either like a hidden, forgotten gem or the worst thing ever.
It's likely one or the other. I doubt it's middle ground.
There's no middle ground. No, this is definitely one or the other. Because all I had seen Linda Cardellini in before Freaks and Geeks was the first and last writer-director starred film by Dee Snider.
Wow.
Strangeland.
Wow.
Where he plays a serial killer called Captain Howdy.
As only Dee Snider can?
Yes, that I saw in the theater.
Wow. That's commitment.
Yes. I had a Fangoria subscription, so, you know.
Nice.
Yeah. One of the most famous episodes ever of The X-Files is rearing this night.
Oh.
It's Clyde Bucknell's Final Repose with Peter Boyle. For some reason, it's on at midnight, but for some reason they have like a close-up of it. That hey, this is on.
So weird, yeah.
And this, on Dateline that night, it's about Dolly the sheep, the first cloned animal.
Cool, interesting. Kind of loops into technology talk and stuff. Very interesting.
And like morality, and like, do we do this? Why would we do this?
Yeah, now we're making woolly mammoth mice, apparently.
Although apparently that's total bullshit.
No, really?
Yeah, like this company, again, it's that that post.com bubble where like so many of these startups, it's so much smoke and mirrors, like investment stuff. So I guess they just like, it's not woolly mammoth at all. They just basically made these mice that are
they're hairy.
Yeah. And they're like, yes, no, it's woolly mammoth. You know,
that's
like,
part. I feel like that's also something that's kind of taken over our culture. This like fake it till you make it. You know,
yes,
like that's always been a phrase. But like once you made it, the idea was you do it for real. But, like, now everyone just fakes it, and they just keep faking it.
And they're like, well, who did it hurt? They all enjoyed it. They thought it was real. What's the problem? It's like that John Edwards crossing over, like, I told them I talked to their dead relative, and it made them happy, so who did it hurt? Kind of thing.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, like, that's,
you did pretty well off that. True. So I don't know.
Yeah. Very strange.
And they're rerunning David Blaine's Magic Man. Which is his second special, I think. And again, 99, we forget how frigging huge David Blaine was.
Oh my God, he was giant, yeah. Also, Ben Stein's Money at 11:30.
Oh yeah, which was a huge phenomenon.
Yeah.
Brought us Jimmy Kimmel.
Wow, I didn't put that together. Very good point. Yeah,
he was a radio guy. He got hired to be the announcer because he was a radio guy.
Yeah, interesting.
There's something on 9 p.m. Thursday night called Smoking, Truth or Dare, 1 hour. Leeza Gibbons hosts a straightforward look at smoking among America's teens.
Were you ever a smoker?
Never. I've never smoked in my life.
I smoked for a while. I smoked for maybe 10 years.
What was your brand?
At first, it was Camel Crush. Terrible.
Did you want the camel points?
The camel points helped. But and then I started rolling my own, and we would get this brand from Greece. Like when I met my partner, like we used to just get brands from there. They were just so much better. Like
you would buy the Ouzo of cigarettes.
Exactly. It was called George Karalias. She still gets it. She still smokes. So, and like it's got this nice pine smell to it. It's very nice.
Sounds old worldy.
Yeah.
There's a total side note. There's a guy in Rub Hill who makes these brilliant YouTube videos about all kinds of movie stuff. But he has one about vanity projects. And there's this vanity project movie made by this Greek actor called Crime Killer. And he's like from Greece, super Greek, and it's the weirdest bad movie ever. But there's a line where this woman just goes, "Is that all you care about? Justice and Ouzo?"
I'll tell you this: I like that character already. If he does,
Yep. Crime Killer.
I might have to watch this.
You should watch Crime Killer. You would enjoy it. There's you'll watch the whole thing. You'll watch it twice because the first time you watch it, you'll just be like mouth open, like what is this? And then the second time you'll be like, okay, now I really need to pay attention to this.
Crime Killer.
Crime Killer. Yep.
Thank you.
This dude, he's like, oh, you're the killer. That's right, the crime killer. It's like, it's.
I need to see this.
He's out there killing crime. So I never smoked. Although I think if I did, I'd either do roll-ups or I'd go American Spirits.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you say you'd go American Spirits? Even as a smoker, I had an American Spirit, and I was just like, nope. Like, those things are lung killers, bro.
It's like they're made to make people quit smoking.
Yeah. I mean, like, they never finish. Like, they are just so thick, and, like, you feel it instantly in your lungs now.
I think that... I mean, so few people smoke now because vaping's taken over and all that stuff. But I feel like instead of banning cigarettes, what they should have done was made it mandatory that everyone used a cigarette holder.
Oh man, I might still be smoking at this point. If that
I think you get some people who would love it, but a lot of people would quit.
True, fair.
Just like dudes on their break at work out there, like with the
like
friggin'
1920s, yeah. Like flapper.
It wouldn't do that.
True.
There's no way. Also, the show The PJs is on, which I totally forgot about.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that show.
That's 2 claymation stop animation shows on in primetime.
Yeah.
which is weird. And then
Claymation did get big for a moment, I feel, in the 90s.
It went up and then down again. So it was like late 80s, huge California Raisins, the Noid,
true,
all that.
true.
Then there was like nothing for a while. And then like, I feel like it was for some weird reason post South Park.
Yeah.
We got like a little Claymation boost again for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I had John Brennan on of The Real World, and
Nice.
he has his Celebrity Deathmatch Claymation.
That's
maquette.
incredible. Oh my God.
I think he fought Snoop Dogg or something.
Yeah.
But he just happened to see it and then like basically called them, was like, "Can I have that puppet?" And they're like, "Sure."
That's
Mailed it to him.
incredible. What an awesome thing to own.
Of course you'd want it.
Yeah, 100%.
There's also another, I don't remember this show at all. This was a Editor's Choice. This is another Comedy Central original show. So there was a few this year. There was also Strip Mall, Julie Brown show.
Yeah.
This one is called Frank Leaves for the Orient. Comedy Central's first original live-action sitcom blends visual effects, flashbacks, and a bizarre variation of a Greek chorus as it chronicles the struggles of a 34-year-old man about to make a major change in life. Feeling life is passing him by, Frank, played by Stan Cahill, who I don't know who that is, decides to move to Japan in 3 days to teach English. The 6-episode series takes place over that time as Frank, a one-way ticket in hand, tries to put his affairs in order. In the opener, Frank breaks the news to girlfriend Gwen, who asks him to go with him, but that's not part of his plan. This guy doesn't look familiar. I don't remember this series. Like, it has a big Editor's Choice, like, totally gone.
Yeah. I do not have any
This poor guy was
memory
like,
of this.
I got my own show on Comedy Central, man. 6 episodes. No one even...
That's sometimes I see like promotions for shows, especially these days, and like I'm like, man, you could really be still unknown and have a decent show.
Oh yeah, Now there's
know?
someone's like, "Oh, I've had my own sitcom on CBS for 12
Yeah.
years," and I'm like, "I've never heard of you." I'm
sorry.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like in 1985, there could be someone that would be like, "I've never seen you in anything, but I know who you are and everything." You
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well,
Then we go final night of the week, Friday night.
Friday night. So I first want to shout out on Nickelodeon at 6 a.m. Mr. Wizard's World.
Yes, Don Herbert.
Yes.
One of the most, one of the least tolerant men of children I've ever seen in my life, especially on his 80s show. When he's extra annoyed by the polite Canadian children he's now working with.
Yes.
And there's some supercuts on YouTube of him just being mean.
No,
to Canadian
really?
kids. It's
No,
great.
he was terrible.
He wasn't like, he didn't abuse them.
Yeah,
He wasn't
yeah.
like- but it's so funny where he's like, "What do you think this is?" No. Like the kids would just be like, "Oh, maybe no." Like, no, you're wrong. Like it's just
That's
there's one where there's
hilarious.
this little Asian kid and he's dunking him in a bucket of ice water to teach him about water displacement. And he's like, "Okay, get your head back down." Like, it's just like,
Oh my god.
it's very funny. And this kid's like, "Oh, okay."
That's hilarious. Oh my god,
Yeah.
I gotta look these up.
Oh, yeah.
I remember waking up to go to school on Friday and like putting it on as I was getting ready because I was just, even though I was older, like I was like, I kind of love this guy. Like
It was great.
it was science, and I was
Yeah.
a big science guy, you know. So I was like,
He'd
hell
be
yeah.
like, "Light this candle and explode this thing."
Yeah.
And, but
I'm
then he'd be
in.
like, "No, why do you think that did that?" And the kid would be like, "Oh, because of surface tension." No. Like, he'd just be like,
Just
"We talked about,
crush
I
him.
told you this." Like, it's just like, he has no time for these kids. Oh, okay. And it's so perfect that they're like overly polite Canadian kids too. Like, they're so
Indeed, yeah.
not, like if they were like little American punk bastards,
Yeah.
like or like showbiz kids, but these are like not TV kids. They're like, "Oh, Mr. Wizard, hi. Get in that ice bucket. Get in it.
Get in
Put your
it.
head back down." Okay.
I love on Friday on VH1 they had at 8 o'clock making the video. I used to
Yes.
love making the video. Like music videos were what drove me to TV, you know, and
Yeah.
to be able to see how they were made, like just really just I love that aspect of it.
It was the same kind of thing as like the documentaries, like even if it was bands I didn't care about, I
Yeah.
would love watching making the video. And we were so used to these like very innovative, interesting directors coming out of that world
Yeah.
that we were still getting that in 99, where you had like Spike Jones and like, because I think there's a making the video of Intergalactic maybe.
Yeah, I think there might be. Yeah.
You know, those kind of people who start making movies later, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, and music videos in the 90s were just, like, the pinnacle of music videos, I feel.
What are your favorites?
Like, probably my favorite of all time might be, even though they weren't my favorite band, but the video itself just, like, was Smashing Pumpkins' Ava Adore.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That
so not
video,
tonight.
No. Because Ava Adore was one shot. It was a one-shot music video that they put the camera on a track and they had sped up and slowed down and they timed it all out. I remember seeing an interview with Smashing Pumpkins about it. They were like, this video was so close to not happening because we could not get it right. And at the last minute, we finally got the full take. And that video is just brilliant, man. Like, just the scenes, the way it goes, especially that they had those moments of speed up, slow down, you know, like, just brilliant. I really love it. Or
even, like, I'm not a Weezer fan, but, like, Buddy Holly,
a classic.
Super innovative in the way they cut it in with the actual...
With Happy Days,
where it was seamless. Like, you hadn't seen that on a TV show. Like, that was totally new and crazy.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, like, and then there's just classics, you know, Jamiroquai's Virtual Insanity, you know, like, you know what's one I went back and rewatched that I was like, man, this video is actually brilliant, was,
Meatloaf's I Would Do Anything for Love, but I won't do that.
Do not knock Meatloaf, all right? I love Meatloaf. I don't know why. It's my dad's fault. But no, that's not where I'm going. Days Gone by Dirty Vegas, I want to say is the name.
I don't think I even know that one.
I highly recommend checking that one out. It's like this guy who goes to the corner of a street in Hollywood every day, and he does breakdancing. And people keep stopping by and seeing, they're like, who, like, you know this guy? He's like, yeah, he comes here every day, man. And, like, it's this whole story of, like, why he comes and does it. Brilliant video. It tells a whole story, even though the music doesn't at all. I never liked Dirty Vegas that much, like the techno style. Like, it wasn't necessarily my style, but that video, like, and that's, music videos really drew me to music that I normally wouldn't listen to, you know? So I always have had this, like, respect for the music video.
I mean, that was a point I wanted to make earlier, too, when we were talking about, like, the generative AI and stuff and just, like, creativity and things now, is that this era, 99, as it's sort of slowly moving away from it, you were more likely to be exposed to stuff you wouldn't have watched otherwise. So, like, we're saying, you know, like, I'll watch making the video. I don't care who the video is or behind the music or whatever. Whereas you can watch anything you want now, but you kind of already have to know what you want to watch.
Yeah, that's very true.
Not freeing. Like, like, you're not necessarily stumbling upon stuff as much because even, like, the algorithms catering to you. And, you know, it does happen. Like, I will, you know, every so often I'll get a song recommended to me that I really like. But, I mean, like, I still listen to one of our local college radio stations because inevitably, like, almost weekly, I'll hear either a band from, like, 30 years ago I never heard of that I'm like, this is amazing, or something new that I just, there's no way I would hear it otherwise.
I think that's actually a very good point. And I would actually argue that version of AI is a little more dangerous than generative AI, because the idea of AI in the back end forcing you to see things that you like, but now you're never being exposed to new things.
Yeah. It's like you picked your career and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's interesting. I actually hadn't thought of that, and that's a very good point. Very strange.
And it's true of, like, you know, the streamers and the algorithm of, like, what it pushes. Because, like, not so much now, but, like, a lot of them had, like, old, like, big back catalogs of old shows.
Yeah.
But people would never, you'd have to know to look for them.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't ever recommend it, even though a person would have recommended that. Like, if someone, this isn't a good example, but if they're like, oh, I noticed you're watching The Office. Hey, you might like Cheers.
Yeah.
You know, like, whatever. It's
Yeah.
not giving them that, which is very strange. There's a huge ad for Farscape, which I've never seen.
Yeah, that actually, that stuck out to me too. I never watched Farscape, but I was like, it always was something that intrigued me. But at the time, I wasn't really watching anything besides music videos.
Right.
Like, I'm in college. I'm mostly out,
You're not committing. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, like, but that's something, it actually made me like, maybe I should go back and watch some Farscape, see if it's worth it.
Henson Company's involved.
Yeah, exactly. That's huge.
Cool alien designs. I love that. I forgot 99 is when the Phantom Menace came out, because literally this ad says more satisfying than the Phantom Menace, Tom Shales, Washington Post. So it's basically like, Phantom Menace sucks, watch this show.
And fair statement.
Yeah. And then on the same page, to show you how things have changed, the Source Hip Hop Awards, accolades for Sean Puffy Combs.
Yes.
Yes. But they're also honoring Africa Bombata and Grandmaster Flash.
True.
Africa Bombata, perfect example. A black guy from Boston who is super into craft work, who managed to make that into a whole, like, all right.
Yup. I also, Mad TV was on Friday.
Yes.
Combating the SNL fight, I always liked Mad TV. It wasn't great, but I liked that it was trying to push something different.
Yeah, it wasn't. I think I wrote it off as an In Living Color clone.
Yeah. Which In Living Color I loved. Like,
go back and watch that. Oof.
Oh, really?
Oh my God.
Really?
That is the prime example of something not holding up. Like, I've not met a single person who loved it growing up who's rewatched it who's been like, it's still great.
Oh,
it's
no.
Terrible.
Oh, no.
And not even like, it's super lazy. Like, it's one joke, and then that one joke is like obvious and dumb, and then it beats it into the ground.
Wow.
Like, again, the one I always cite is Handyman.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, it's not, the joke isn't how people react to him. The joke isn't he always gets the upper hand.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally this guy is handicapped and he falls down and talks funny. Like, that's it.
God.
That's it.
Yeah. That's the problem too. Like, I'm sure there's so many like things that just aren't acceptable anymore.
No, and I feel like they kind of weren't then, but they were
trying to be edgy.
Yeah.
True.
So it's like, yeah, I've not rewatched an In Living Color sketch where I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
And I think you'll find a lot of people have it. Like people share, like, you can find all the sketches, they're all out there. I never see people sharing old In Living Color sketches.
That's
SNL,
very
Mad
true.
TV, all the time. Never once on social media have somebody like, dude, remember this hilarious In Living Color sketch?
People just watch and they're like, oh no, that was not funny.
That was the one that you picked? Like Fire Marshal Bill, the whole joke was he was a burn victim.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the joke. That's it. There's nothing else to the sketch.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they relied a lot on simple jokes and Jim Carrey's weird face.
Yeah, which I'm like, I like dumb stuff. I like some really stupid sketch stuff, but I'm like, but this is just like, really, guys? You did 95 versions of that sketch?
Yeah.
But then the final season, Chris Rock is a cast member.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. I had stopped watching at that point.
He quit SNL because he just was like, they're not treating me well, and he moved over into Living Color. And I haven't been able to find that season. That season's difficult to find, and I'm curious if it's better.
Yeah, I could see it being better. I mean, it's Chris Rock.
But like, I love I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. Like, I felt like the Waynes did some interesting stuff.
They did some great things.
Like when they're in that sort of Robert Townsend sphere. But then if you look also after In Living Color, garbage. Everything, there is not a single good Wayans Brothers movie.
Yeah.
Like, they're
I did like was Don't Be a Menace before or after?
I feel like that might have been during.
It might have been during.
Yeah, but that was also parodying a genre that was very close to their hearts.
They're very
just like
they are better. Yeah, they're better at parody. I feel like
when they're actually doing parody and not just like, hey, look, it's the thing from the thing.
Yeah.
But like Blank Man started as a handyman movie.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yes.
Yikes.
Which is obvious now if you think about it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But like that was like they're taking a swing,
Wow.
But then if you look at and I always compare Keenan Ivory Wayans to Robert Townsend because they had very similar careers, and I love Robert Townsend. Robert Townsend's brilliant, and like Meteor Man, that movie is great. It's really fun. It's funny. No one gives a shit about it.
Yeah.
And like it's like he tried and no one cared, and they make Blank Man and whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, Yeah. And I think Shawn Wayne should go back to SW1.
Fair.
I respect him more if he goes back to SW1.
I also that night was Living Single. I loved Living Single.
It's amazing.
That show was really like Friends before Friends.
Friends 100% ripped it off. It's a funnier show. It's better characters. It's more relatable. That show's great.
Yeah. I remember as a kid, like, that was just a show that for some reason it just grabbed me. It felt so like I'm watching adults. You know,
Yes.
like I'm learning how adults live. Like,
Who seem like actual friends.
Yeah,
Like they
yeah.
seem like they like truly are in each other's lives, and they had like very interesting dynamics, and like was a really and just a killer cast of people on that show.
Yeah.
That show holds up. I have rewatched that. And it's
Yeah,
still very
nice.
good.
That's
Yeah.
good. And Men in Black showing that night too.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
I haven't rewatched that first. Actually, any of them. I know I've seen the first two, but I haven't rewatched them.
I've rewatched all three of them. They're like, if you take it for what it is, which is just a blockbuster, like there's really decent comedy. Tommy Lee Jones is really good in it. Will Smith is exactly what he needs to be. You know, like
Tommy Lee Jones is funny. He's hilarious in The Fugitive.
yeah.
And Ed Solomon, friend of the show, Ed Solomon, who wrote those movies, like
Yep.
Ed's hilarious, and there's some very funny, very Ed Solomon jokes in that movie. I think the thing that was slightly disappointing to me was I wanted it to be more like the weird parts of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, like the stuff with
I could see
Station.
that. Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
There's pieces of that in there.
There are, yeah. But it's
so
not all
like-
the way. It's not all the way. But
No.
There's
enough, though.
They are decent. Yeah.
With the little
I
alien
really.
inside the guy's face and all that.
Yeah.
Like that stuff was fun. That was oh my God. I do want to mention on TNN at 10 p.m. Friday night, the WSL Roller Jam is on. Final round playoff action taped in Orlando. So I imagine that's roller derby.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there was
Leaf Garrett. That was the guy's name.
Oh wow, good
Leaf
memory.
Garrett. That
Yes.
was the behind the music. Sorry.
No. Yeah, roller derby had a moment in like the early 2000s. I feel like I remember going to roller derbies in Chicago to watch them. Like it was brutal.
Huge in the 60s, big on TV in the 70s, which is when you get the first rollerball movie, the
Okay.
Jimmy Caan one. Then it had a revival in the late 80s after American Gladiators.
Oh wow!
So there was a bunch of
That
American
makes sense.
Gladiator ripoffs. There was one called Rock and Roller Games, which you can watch online now. There's a alligator pit in the middle. They would have like Lita Ford play and all this stuff. It's
Nice.
ridiculous. Maybe my favorite American Gladiators ripoff though was Wizards and Warriors. I think it's
Oh
called.
yes, Oh my god!
It's like the Ren Fair American Gladiators.
Yes, I had completely forgotten about that.
It's
Oh
wonderfully
my
bad.
god!
But yeah, roller games was big for like a year, and then it kind of went underground again. It was sort of like a weird, like alternative, like kind of punk rock sport.
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
2000s.
And that
Yeah.
being like punk rock scene guy, like I definitely like got pushed that way. And
Yeah,
I
it was like a
definitely
big
went
sort
to
of.
a
There was a
bunch.
big Riot Girl overlap.
Yeah,
with the
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of good Chicago punk bands. My all-time
Hell
favorite,
yeah.
Naked Ray Gun.
Naked Ray Gun, very good. My favorite would probably be, even though they're ska punk, Blue Meanies.
Okay, fair enough.
I like the Blue Meanies. I
We played with the Blue Meanies.
No shit. Oh
Yeah.
man, a blast. How was what's his name? Johnny
They were very nice. We never.
They were good?
I can't think of any. As much as I was annoyed by some of the ska bands, I can't think of any that were dicks.
Nice. That's good.
Yeah,
Good to know.
Less Than Jake, like all those kind of ska
Yeah,
punk
yeah.
bands were fine. And actually, the theme song to this show is written and performed by the Smoking Popes.
Ah, nice. Very Chicago royalty.
Yes, absolutely.
Nice.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. This has been a great chat. I appreciate you doing it.
I had a wonderful time. Thank you, Ken. If people, you mind if I?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. If people would like to see the many incessant lives and subsequent deaths deserved of Skulk the Hulking, you can go to skulkthehulking.com or search for it on Spotify or YouTube and let me know what you think.
Yeah, and I'll put links in the show description as well, so
Awesome.
people can link to it right from there.
Thank you, Ken. I really had a great time.
There you go. That's Skulk. Google his mustache. It's fantastic. I don't know if I've ever said that phrase before. Google his mustache, but I have now. So the older I get, the more of the phrases I've said. That's kind of how life works. I feel like that's a saying that sounds like it was translated from a different language and doesn't quite translate. Anyway, I hope you guys are having an okay summer, as okay as one can have, given everything. And I'll be here next week, so I hope you will too, for a brand new edition of TV Guidance Counselor.
Looks like you got some kind of alternate universe in there or something.